here for the presentation. So if the body that is designated in issue 1 can't agree on the district lines, then who makes the decision? Are they elected or appointed individuals? So when so you've got the legislature, so you've got the body, the legislature. If the legislature doesn't agree, and then they have to appoint that committee, are those individuals though that are unelected? I'm a little worried. I'm seriously a little worried about that. And I don't know the answer. I don't know if our League of Women Voters is still here.
Yeah, unfortunately she left.
She left. Okay.
Oh, she left already?
Yeah.
So I'm concerned about that because anytime that you have individuals making those types of important decisions that aren't elected individuals being held accountable to you, the people. I'm a little worried about what the accountability is.
Yeah, she did have an answer though, I think.
Yeah, good, because I've asked, I can't get
And
an
I'm not
answer.
sure. So we passed an issue in 2015 about the state boundaries.
Oh,
Correct.
There's a commission that sets that. I don't know if it's commissioned or it's elected.
It's elected. Oh, I don't know.
Because that's the answer. The answer is if the Ohio House and Senate can't decide, it moves to whomever was appointed, like you said, decided in 2015.
The amendment language says, if the new congressional district plan is not passed, the Ohio Redistricting Commission shall be reconstituted and reconvened and shall adopt a congressional district plan in accordance with the rest of the thing. So it says reconstituted and reconvened.
So they decided the state boundaries, and now they're being reconvened to decide the federal boundaries.
Yes,
For me, to reconstitute would mean they've got to pick four different members from the bodies of the legislature.
So as long as they're members of the body of the legislature, that's okay to me. But I will tell you this, and maybe you just said the issue, it's clear, the answer is clear, I don't know, is the answer
Then
clear?
the judges will get involved.
Didn't you have a slide that showed who was on that commission?
Yeah, there was the
Well,
governor.
no, that was the current commission. I'm sorry. The slide I had was
Was it current?
the people who did it in 2010.
Okay, all right, so how about if anybody gets an answer to that? Let me know. Definitively, I'm really worried about, again, having a body of individuals drawing congressional districts that is not an elected, are individuals you can't hold accountable. So, nonetheless, so thank you. It's great to be with you. I am serious. If you find the answer to that question, will you please let us know? I've asked several times and I cannot get a clear answer. So, it's great to be with you this morning. So Ronald Reagan once said, raise a banner of no pale pastels, but of bold primary colors, making it clear where you stand on the issues that matter to the people. So if you know me or if you've read anything about me, I hope what you've learned is that I have no problem making it very clear where I stand on the issues that matter to the people. However, I'm going to tell you I'm a little worried about our Republican Party. Our Republican Party in Columbus especially, too willing to go along and get along, wanting to coronate a candidate in this Republican primary rather than letting you, the people, make the decision about who your nominee will be for governor on the Republican side. I believe Ohio deserves an unapologetic conservative to serve as our next governor, and that's why I am running to be the next governor of the state of Ohio. So I was born and raised in Akron, Ohio. I still live in Summit County today, and my American dream was defined by my dad. Growing up, my dad was a single father, which was a little unusual in those times, but my mom left our family, and my sister, brother, and I stayed with my dad. As a baby, when my dad was a baby, he suffered from polio. Because of that, he had one leg that was smaller than the other. But he got up and went to work hard every single day as a bricklayer. And that's what I saw. My dad never let any obstacle stand in the way of the things that he wanted. He didn't expect anything from anyone, and he certainly didn't expect anything from government. And he fought every single day to give his children a better life. So I was the first in my family to go to and graduate from college. I graduated from the University of Akron with a degree in accounting. I was recruited right out of college to go to work for what was then one of the big 6 public accounting firms. And I started my professional career as a CPA at Deloitte. All told, I spent 16 years working in the private sector as a CPA. I got involved in politics because of a local property rights issue. A church that my family is affiliated with had bought property to build a sanctuary across the street from my neighborhood, and government was doing what government too often does, trying to dictate to that church what they could or couldn't do with their own property. Ultimately, the right decisions were made, the church got built, but it's what got me involved in politics. I sought appointment because of that. I sought appointment to an open city council seat. I was then elected to serve a 4-year term on city council, and then I was recruited to run for the legislature. I ran for the 43rd House District, and during that time, Republicans had walked away from the district because they believed it to be unwinnable. It was right after redistricting, talking about redistricting, and it had become a much more Democrat district. But I did during that campaign exactly what I'm doing today, taking my message directly to the voters. And it worked then, and it's going to work this time as well. So after taking the oath of office, I learned my first most important lesson about politics. Not all Republicans are conservatives. Needs to be repeated, right? Not all Republicans are conservatives, hence the mess we're in. And let me tell you why I say that. Within the first couple of months of being in the legislature, my Republican Party asked me to vote for a tax increase. And I refused to do it. I voted no, and because of that, I got kicked off the Finance Committee. I will tell you, that was especially painful because I'm a CPA, and I actually like budgets and numbers. But the thing that you should know about that is Mary Taylor is willing to stand up and do the right thing, even when there is going to be a consequence for doing so. In 2006, I decided to run for a state auditor. You might recall 2006 was the original blue wave. Republicans lost a lot. Nancy Pelosi became the Speaker of the House because of those 2006 elections. In Ohio, you might remember that we lost all but one statewide elective office. We had a U.S. Senator, a liberal Republican named Mike DeWine. He lost his re-election to the U.S. Senate, and we have Sherrod Brown today because of that. Again, we lost all of the statewide offices but one. I was the only Republican elected statewide in 2006 when I was elected to serve as your state auditor. As your auditor, I did what I said I was going to do, hold government accountable. I was honored to be called a watchdog of the Treasury because I understand the importance of protecting your tax dollars. It was my office that sounded the alarm that Ohio was going to face an $8 billion budget deficit because of decisions being made by then Democrat Governor Ted Strickland. That's the reason I decided to run for lieutenant governor instead of seeking re-election to the state auditor's office. So early on in this administration, we started using and governing with those conservative principles that I believed was the path to get Ohio back on track. But somewhere along the way, John Kasich walked away from those conservative principles. But I want to assure you I never did. I am the same conservative that I have always been. And I'm not a conservative because I'm a Republican. It's probably the other way around. But I'm a conservative because I actually believe it's conservative governing that helps lift people up and give them the opportunity to live their American dream in our state and in our country. So let me tell you what you can expect from a Mary Taylor governor. Number one, I will end the Medicaid expansion. Now I want to be... I got to read the headline. My opponent has previously refused to answer the question, but just sent to me overnight an article. My opponent's running mate, his lieutenant governor candidate, was at the Youngstown Vindicator, and the article, the headline of the article says, Husted said DeWine would ask the president for the option to develop a sustainable Medicaid expansion system. Seems pretty clear to me he's going to continue the Medicaid expansion. Look, it's not sustainable, and there is not a sustainable model. But let's also be clear. The vast majority of the individuals in that Medicaid expansion population are able-bodied adults, and able-bodied adults should be working. And our efforts should be focused on getting those individuals back to work. I am the only one, on both sides, by the way, Republican and Democrat, I am the only one who understands that and will, in fact, end the Medicaid expansion. Number two, I will end Common Core and restore local control to communities, to schools, and to parents. I have rolled out a comprehensive solution to address the addiction crisis that we're facing. And let's be clear, it's not a government solution because government